Oh, hey everyone. A quick warning, this video is going to be kind of weird because my main purpose of shooting today really is to get like several little short videos that I can upload and then try to use the YouTube Creator Studio, like the video editing stuff, to try and teach myself just so I can learn how to use it. I'm in my car. I'm actually in the parking lot at work, and I've gotten here quite early. I had to leave the house just because it just started getting noisy there. Something's weird with the dishwasher where it's leaking, and my mom had a repair guy. I guess he was from Sears. I'm not sure where it was from, but whichever entity installs the dishwasher, she called up that place and they sent somebody out, but it was getting kind of noisy around there, and it was kind of stressing me out, and I'm like, okay, I just need to just leave. So, stopped and grabbed some food, and now I'm sitting in the car at work. So, yeah. But yeah, like I said, again, this video is going to be kind of weird. So if I'm going to be trying to learn how to use the Creator Studio. So like if the splicing is funny or there's something weird with audio going on, I mean, I'm just going to be experimenting around. So anyway, I guess that's really it for now. So I guess I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye. Hey again. My afternoon shift at work is over. I'm obviously back at home in my room. Sad to say, I don't have anything to talk about work today because since I already kind of in video making mode today, like I was kind of secretly hoping that something interesting would happen at work. I was like, oh, something will happen on the bus today, or there'll be something will happen at work that I can talk about, and oddly enough, it was actually rather quiet this afternoon. No drama on my middle school route, which kind of surprises me because I actually had to double up on my bus this afternoon because one of the other drivers, actually several drivers, we've had bad absenteeism lately and we're very short-handed anyhow. In fact, Jefferson County is actually short a lot of drivers, and it's really causing some problems. But we have a driver who's out. I think she took a couple of personal days so she could go see her son graduate from some training in the military or something. And so anyway, since I only have 20 kids on my bus out of my middle school route, they decided to just go ahead and have her kids double up onto my bus, which makes sense actually because her kids and her route are in rather close proximity to mine. I have one side of a major road and she picks up kids on the other side. And so, being that it was an afternoon where there were some after-school activities like sports stuff and tutoring and clubs and whatnot, actually it was kind of a light load and nothing happened. They didn't even crumble up food on the floor or draw penises on the seats or anything. They didn't holler obscenities out the window at random people walking by. Nothing happened. I didn't even have to tell them to sit down and mind their and leave each other alone. No drama, no nothing. They just sat still and were talking quietly to the person sitting next to them. They actually did what they're supposed to do, which it's not that unusual, but I was kind of like, oh, something's gonna happen today because I'm in video mode. I have to be able to talk about it. So anyway, nothing happened. Nothing at work happened. So anyhow, I'm videoing right now, so if you're looking for me, okay, never mind. My mom's just walked by. She's getting my uncle for something. So, oh, my cousin's on the phone. Cool. Anyway, but what I have been working on lately is I made a list. I'm a very avid list maker. I'm just very anal retentive that way. I'm working on a list of things I'm going to address in an upcoming video. Something I've always kind of wanted to do is maybe address baby bats or the younger goth crowd and just kind of give them some pointers and give them some encouragement and talk about some things that might interest them, or kind of offer them some advice, I guess, and also to just kind of offer them some insight too. So, but yeah, I'm working on like a big like list, kind of an outline here. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing, and I'm also drinking a beer. This is actually, I'm going to talk about this beer real quick for a second. This is like, oh, this is like my like really old beer cozy. You can see like the bottoms come out, and I've had to put fabric glue on the bottom a couple of times actually, but I bought this in Florida, like just spur of the moment, because somebody had gone and gotten like a whole bunch of beer for like a family get-together we were having, and I had lost my other beer cozy, which was like a cheap piece of crap anyway. I mean, I know exactly where it is. I left it on the ledge, like up on a ledge down by where the pool is at the condos where we stay in Pensacola, Florida. And actually that can of beer I was drinking got knocked off of the ledge about 6 feet down to like where there's like sand and like grass growing, and there's these little prickly things that grow in the sand that get stuck on your feet. So I was not going to go and retrieve it. I decided to just go ahead and just leave it there. Like, there's no way I'm going to walk through that, even in your sandals or your flip-flops or shoes. Those little prickly things, it's like this grass that gets these little tiny little prickly balls, and they get stuck in your shoes, and even if they're not in your feet, you know, you walk into your room or like your unit at the condo at the resort, and they stick in the carpet, and then when someone walks by barefoot, it gets stuck in their foot, and they get stuck in your car, and they get stuck on your socks. It's horrible. And so I was like, I'm not going to go get that freaking stupid beer cozy. It's just a beer cozy. And so I actually walked across the street to the small liquor store, which is pretty much open 24/7 because Pensacola is a tourist town and they sell tons of alcohol there. And so I walked over there, and I found this, and I'm like, oh, that's so neat. Oh, it's just what I need. And it was like $6, and I guess because it's brand name or whatever, it's like, oh, it's got like a Cobra on it. It's got my favorite color, purple, all over it, and it's nice and soft, and it's well made, and it actually keeps beer cold really well. But anyway, enough about the stupid beer cozy. So anyway, my boyfriend, when he comes to visit, or when I come to visit him, I always end up with a ton of beer, or he ends up with a ton of beer, because we bring beer to each other. Although I already told him I'm not bringing him any more beer until he drinks what he already has, because last time I was there, it was like for Halloween or for Thanksgiving or something, and we're going to stock the refrigerator and their extra refrigerator like in the garage, and there's another extra one behind the bar in their basement, because he lives with his parents too. But anyway, stock the refrigerators, we're stocking the refrigerators, and I'm finding beer that I had brought him back like on June 16th, which is his birthday. Like, I had driven up and brought him some beer. Like, I went and like picked out like the little, like I did a like a mix and match 6-pack. Some liquor stores around here do that, I guess. You can take a regular, like an empty 6-pack container or carton and fold the cardboard back where it belongs, and then like there's like a selection of regular size bottles, and you can like mix and match, and then they just charge you, you know, for each bottle, or some do like a flat rate. Like, I think the grocery store, Kroger around here, I think it's $8.99 for a mix and match 6-pack, so you can be putting like expensive beer like Guinness or something in there, and it's no big deal. But anyway, he was recently here. We had like a late Valentine's Day visit together, and he drove down from Cleveland, and he always brings Ukrainian beer and Ukrainian wine. The wine that he brought, actually, it's communion wine. It's really sweet. It was really difficult to drink it, and we were sitting out up at the dinner table with my parents and my uncle, and we were drinking it, and we were all just kind of going. It was like the first couple of sips, it was fine, but any more than that, it just got to be like, oh, I can't handle this. This is just, no more of this. But I kept the bottle because the bottle's really cool, because it's from the Ukraine. Actually, like, his mom's side of his family is from the Ukraine, so that's kind of why, like, that keeps coming up anyway. So, but here's this interesting beer. It is brewed in the village where his grandmother, his baba, grew up, and it's actually kind of a big bottle. It's a pint, but it's 7% alcohol by volume. I'm not really sure how you pronounce this. I think it's Lusky. I think that's how you pronounce that. I'm not really sure, but it is from the Ukraine, and it's actually pretty good. It's kind of sweet, kind of malty. It's very crisp and clean tasting. It just has a very simple but very pleasing flavor profile, and it's actually kind of full-bodied for a lighter beer. If that actually doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's full-bodied for a light beer, but I mean, you know what I mean. If you're a beer drinker, you know what I mean. So, but yeah, this is I'm in like after work relax mode, and this is what I'm doing right now. So I'm just gonna put it back in here before it gets warm. So, but yeah, so I'm working on that list that I showed you, and I'm working on gathering up some stuff to show you. Not DIY stuff, but I've got, but it's going to be included in my entry that I'm going to do addressing baby bats. I'm going to show some of the things that I had back in the 1990s, back when I was a baby bat. And I've got some photographs too. Yes, some like terrible, horribly, like horrible, embarrassing photographs. Although they're not that embarrassing because, honestly, I don't think I'm ever going to be a size 4 again. So, yeah, those days are over. So I at least have, like, pictures of when I was a teenager, and I can go, yeah, I actually, like, had, like, a nice body at one time. Whatever. So, not that I'm displeased with the way that I am now, it's just that, it's like, yeah, I know what it's like to be skinny, and, you know, I've tried to be skinny again, and my body just won't let me do it, no matter what I do, so it doesn't matter. I'm fine, and I'm actually proud of myself because I have lost a big bunch of weight. Well, not really a big bunch of weight. It's like 40 pounds, I think maybe 40 or 43 pounds, something like that, in the last year. And right now it's just kind of plateaued, and I'm fine with that. So, but I have like a whole bunch of blue jeans and other stuff that I like shrank out of that I can't wear anymore. But I did save it. I did put it aside so that I could use it like for a sewing project in the future. So yeah, like I said, I'm a stasher. I will stash things. I mean, I'm not a hoarder. That's kind of definitely the wrong word. I am not a hoarder. I'm a stasher. There's a big difference. A stasher keeps things put aside, like small things, and they just keep it to a minimum. Like small things to a minimum. Like every time I have something I want to put into the stash, I always try to like go through and go, well, you know, what can I get rid of out of here? What do I know by now that I'm definitely not going to use? And just like either throw it away or take it to the Goodwill or ask somebody else if they want it or something like that. So, I mean, I try not to be wasteful, but I try not to hoard either. My dad is a hoarder, and you should see the back basement. I might have to sneak back there and just do like a video and hope that my mom doesn't see the video of like all the stuff that's packed in there. It's unreal. It's unreal. Like, oh my gosh. I mean, it's full of like stuff and cobwebs, and there's just too much stuff in this house. I hate to say it. Yeah, my dad saves pretty much everything. Like, if you're about to throw something away, like a plastic dish, or any, you know, if he sees it, if it's anything that he sees as useful, he'll go, oh, no, I'll take that aside. Like he saved a whole bunch of cardboard from when I bought my IKEA, my chest of drawers that you saw in the video, my room tour video. Like, he wanted the cardboard. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wanted some of the cardboard too, because me and the boyfriend, we're actually supposed to be moving in together sometime soon, and so, like, I'm gonna need, like, cardboard and, like, packing material and boxes and stuff. I'm gonna need those things, so I kind of have been hoarding those things. And so what I was gonna do is just take mine to my storage shed, because I have a storage shed. But he, like, wanted to save all the cardboard, and my mom was griping at him, like, why are you saving this stuff? You save everything! And it's so funny sometimes to, like, hear them talking back and forth. It's like, to other people who, like, come into the house who aren't around them very often, it sounds like fighting. But to me, it doesn't sound like fighting, because, like, they just bicker all the time like that. It's just kind of like this dance that they do. They don't mean it. They're not like, or anything like that. It's just like her kind of griping at him, and him griping back, and then her being a smart ass to him, then him being a smart ass back, and then, like, you know, they'll just kind of, like, do this, like, little kid bickering back and forth stuff, and then it'll dissolve pretty quickly. It's hilarious. I mean, like, I'm not gonna video it or anything, Yeah, I'm pretty sure that would probably get me into some trouble around here, so I'm not trying to piss anybody off. So yeah, but it's hilarious. Like when he's wanting to like stash something or save something, and she's huffing and puffing about it, and she's griping at him, or she's kind of going. It's funny. It's just funny. To me, it's funny anyway. I mean, like I'm sort of like over off to the side, just kind of like. It's entertaining. Excuse me. So, yeah, nothing interesting. I'm just so disappointed nothing happened at work today. So, I mean, my elementary kids did ask me about, like, my makeup and stuff, and, like, some of my 5th grade girls were like, "Oh, Miss Michelle, we like your lipstick, it looks so pretty with your hair," and I'm like, "Oh, thank you," and stuff. So, like, the kids that are old enough to be interested in, like, makeup and dressing up, they all, like, notice and say something. The younger ones are just kind of like, "Are you going somewhere after work? Miss Michelle, do you have a date?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not going anywhere. I just felt like dressing up today." And so, yeah, I don't normally go to work, like, in my full, like, you know, outfits or whatever. Sometimes I do. Usually just kind of, I'll just put on, like, jeans and, like, one of my band t-shirts or something with, like, my, you know, big, like, patchy jacket that I showed you. Or, you know, just something even plainer than that even sometimes. But, I mean, like, still looking at me, you can tell I'm alternative, and I get a lot of dirty looks. Like, when I have to go into schools, like, during my layovers and stuff, between runs, like, the bitches in the office just look at me like they wish, like, they can't stand the fact that I'm allowed to breathe the same air as them. It's disgusting, the way that they look at me, and I just ignore them. I just walk through the office, and go, you know, they buzz me in, you have to push a doorbell thing, and there's a camera, like, on the doorbell thing, and you push the buzzer, and, like, if they recognize you, know who you are, they'll let you in. If they don't know who you are, they'll say, "Welcome to such and such elementary school," or "Welcome," you know, or "Can I help you?" And you just say who you are and what you're there for, and they'll let you in. It's for security purposes. I mean, with all the, like, shootings and crap going on in schools these days, it's a necessary precaution. So that's not the inconvenience. It's that, like, you know, one year, one elementary school, the women in the office, or the lady who did the buzzing in, was such a bitch and such a snob, and I think she did this on purpose just to ruffle my feathers. Is I would go to the door, as I go in the afternoons after I'm done dropping off my middle schoolers and I get to my elementary school, I park my bus where it belongs, and I go inside so I can, like, use the bathroom or get a drink of water, or just get in, like, out of the heat or out of the cold for a few minutes, you know, and just so I can walk and move my legs, because, like, I'm sitting there in my seat and I get stiff. But anyway, you know, I would go up to the door to be buzzed in at this school, and in this snotty voice, she'd go, "Can I help you?" And I like, the first week, I kind of got it, because she, like, would have to kind of recall, because so many people come and go from these schools. I can see how, like, it would take her a second to recognize me before she buzzed me in, because, you know, maybe she's not used to me yet. But this went on the entire school year. 5 days a week, this woman would do this. I would go to the buzzer, I'd push the buzzer, "Can I help you?" My name is Michelle, I'm a bus driver, I just need to come in and use the restroom. And then, like, no response. Like everybody else, she'd go, "Oh, come right in," and then she'd push the thing, there's like a clicking noise that happens in the door. That's how you know she's unlocked the door from a distance, and you can open the door and go in. No, she would not say a word to me. That's all she ever said to me, at all. The whole time I had a route out of that elementary school. "Can I help you?" Like, she just couldn't, like, she just did it on purpose, I think. And she gave me dirty looks constantly, and at this particular school, like, there was enough space in the teacher's lounge where the bus drivers could congregate in there during their layovers before it was time for the elementary students to be dismissed. And we'd sit in there and just kind of hang out and, you know, chit-chat and whatnot, and she would come in there occasionally, and one time I was in there by myself, just sitting at the table, and I had a book I was reading, and she walked in, and I looked up at her, and, like, she looked at me, and I smiled, and she just looked away from me, and she went straight to the refrigerator, and dug around in the fridge for a couple seconds and then walked out. I mean, that just annoys me. Like, how can someone be so bitter and hateful? I mean, I'm bitter and hateful to a degree, like, you know, but I think it's just, you know, there's definitely an element of prejudice when it comes to that woman. So, yeah. But fortunately, I don't have to deal with her anymore. The schools I'm at now, like my middle school, the lady in the office actually, she calls me by my first name. She's nice to me. She asks me how my day is going, and we talk, and we joke around and stuff. And she's really nice, and she's like actually very accepting and whatnot. And although at that particular school, it's a middle school, but it's in a high school, because the actual middle school building that it used to be, or whatever, they had to shut that school down and disperse the students. Because they were going to turn it into a preschool plus like a special needs school or something. Anyway, I've got these 8th graders on my bus. That school's, it's nothing but 8th graders, and it occupies like, I don't know, like one small section of a high school that had like really low attendance or something. But anyway, like I've walked through that school before, because last year my high school route was out of this high school, and I've walked through there, and actually some of the faculty and like, I mean, you know, and security and stuff, a few times they thought I was a kid because the way I was dressed. Like they, you know, like I walked in there once, like obviously it's like wearing something that I'm allowed to wear as, you know, a bus driver, that I'm allowed to wear, but the kids aren't allowed to wear. And I walk by and they'd go, oh, you need to cover that up, or you need to do this, or they look at me funny. And then after once I gave them the what are you talking about look, glance, I guess they kind of went, you're a bus, you're a bus driver, yeah, okay. It's kind of funny, but yeah, the lady in the office, she's fine. I mean, like, I don't have that problem with her, and the people in the office at my elementary school, the only person there I have a problem with that treats me like shit because of the way I dress and whatnot is actually the assistant principal who handles the bus misconduct forms. And every time I've handed him a misconduct form, I don't have to very often anymore because I've really got my kids under control now, but at the beginning of the year I did have some problems that needed to be addressed discipline-wise in the school and with the parents. And he would just look at the referral or the misconduct form and go, okay, and start asking like all these like questions like he thought I was lying. Or like he was trying to imply, he wanted me to think that he thought I was lying. Or he like, you know, basically just kind of in a way like really underhandedly calling me a liar, and just would argue back and forth with me. And it got so bad to the point where I actually had to go to my supervisor and complain and say, look, this guy is so unbelievably rude to me. He's condescending. He would just do nothing but argue back and forth with me. He tries to justify why he's not going to do anything about these problems on my bus after I've done all I can do. I'm like, I can't talk to the guy. And my supervisor's like, well, I can't be like your, you know, I can't be a messenger for you. You're going to have to talk to him. And I'm like, I just want to, I said, okay, well then can I just make you aware of the situation? And he's like, yeah. And so he actually did call up to the school, and he did tell this assistant principal, like, look, you can't talk to her like that. That is not how you treat my staff. That's not how you treat your staff. So this, you know, I want you to talk to my bus drivers, and I want you to talk to her just like you talk to anybody else. I want you to be, you know, and so he said, my supervisor said it turned into an argument on the phone in which, you know, basically it ended with, you know, him explaining to him, my supervisor explaining to this assistant principal that, you know, fine, if you want to keep treating her like crap, she's just going to keep telling me about it, and then I'm eventually going to have to go to your supervisor. And the formal complaint process will start. So don't think for one second that we're afraid to do that, because it will happen. Just keep it up. Go ahead. Do what you want to do and see what happens. It's pretty much how he put it. It's like, you know, you don't want to talk professionally to me and talk about this like grown-ups and get it resolved, and, you know, and try to understand things from her point of view or from my point of view, you know. And he even like stuck up for me and said, he's like, I know Michelle. He's like, she's not an ass. She's not rude. You know, she's not argumentative, and she behaves like a professional to other adults that she needs help from, especially. You know, and if she hands you a misconduct form, it's because she's already done everything she's supposed to do to dissolve whatever the problem is among students on her bus. And so, but it did end with him finally just telling him, look, fine, do what you want to do, but don't think for a second that we won't start the formal complaint process if you keep mistreating her. So, that's the only person I have a problem with now. So, and for some reason, him acting that way to me doesn't bother me nearly as much, actually, as the woman at the other elementary school who would go, can I help you? And that doesn't bother, she bothered me way more for some reason, and I can't figure out why. I think it's maybe, I don't know if it's a female thing or what it is, because the assistant principal guy, I mean, I'm not sure what it is. I don't know. I just can't quite. I think it's because I couldn't get in the building without her consent, technically. And I think maybe that's what it was. And I kind of just loathed her, like, and she kind of had it to where, like, had me like this, kind of like where she knew that I knew that I couldn't get in that building without her letting me in. And so I think that she I kind of like got the feeling that, like, if I want to get into the building to use the bathroom and like get some ice for my cup or whatever, or relax for a few minutes, I'm just gonna have to kiss her butt. Like, she was, I think that's kind of the expectation that she had, maybe, and I kind of subconsciously knew that, and that's why it bothered me so much. But with this assistant principal at the elementary school I'm at now, I mean, I can get into the building fine without. I don't need his consent. So the person who is mistreating me or looking down on me is not someone who I depend on for something, other than handling things when it comes to referrals, in which it's not actually. I really don't truly need him for that. If something's bad enough, like, you know, if I'm, you know, I've got an issue with a kid doing something, and I tell him again, and I have to get on to him on a daily basis, it turns into a thing where, you know, me trying to coach them is not working, and it's turned into a problem where I need backup from someone. I can just call their parents, usually, and and oddly enough, you'd be surprised at the difference that makes. A lot of people are so afraid to call a kid's parents to complain about them. They just kind of have it in their head that the parents don't care, that the parents won't do anything, or that the parents are just gonna, you know, find some reason, some way to try and justify their kid being a total shit, you know. They kind of have this fear that calling the parents will do no good. But actually, you'd be surprised at how much good it does, because there are still plenty of families out there who actually discipline the kids and will not, you know, will not, like, stand for their kids misbehaving anywhere, whether it's at school or at home or anywhere else. So, but yeah, nothing happened today, unfortunately. So I have no interesting tales to tell you from today. So, I guess I'm done talking for now. So, goodbye. I thought I would do just a little bit more before I, like, really concluded what I did last night talking about work. But, yeah, I just wanted to add a little bit more because it's so nice out today. This is, like, a really awesome day. It's gonna be in the 70s today. The sun is out, the sky is blue, and, like, spring is officially here because flowers are blooming, and that's a good thing and a bad thing, actually. I love spring, I love flowers, but however, they do make me ill. Like, I've been sneezing a lot this morning, and my throat's been real itchy, and I've had to blow my nose quite a bit, so yeah, it's a little gross and a little embarrassing, but I can't help it, so. But yeah, it's just such a nice day out today. So I'm going to flip this over so I can show you. There's my car, Lucky. Hello, Lucky. But it's just so lovely out. There's the garden. It has nothing in it right now. Usually, like, Mom will plant some herbs and tomatoes and things like that. So, yeah. There's the neighbors' houses. There's a wonderful breeze. Do you see that? Do you hear that? There's the deck. The wind chimes. Magnolia tree. It's just so wonderful out today. I guess that's it. I need to go finish uploading and then try my chops at editing. And hopefully it's not a total blunder. I guess we'll find out. Bye.